if I have the opportunity, like Western, it's always a exciting race, and it's been more than more than 10 years since I was there, so it's been changing a lot.
June 28th, 2025, Kilian Jornet, 100 miles through California's Sierra Nevada mountains.
The Western States, mark it down. He's conquered mountains, he's shattered records, and now he's setting his sights on another iconic challenge.
You better mark your calendars because this is going to be absolutely epic. For those of you maybe not as familiar with the Western States, it's considered the pinnacle of American ultra running, known for its grueling terrain.
And the heat.
Let's be honest, scorching summer temperatures.
Yeah.
We're talking steep climbs, rocky trails, river crossings, all under that relentless California sun.
It's a very different beast compared to those technical mountainous races that Kilian typically dominates in Europe. The Western States demands a different kind of strength and strategy. You know more about sustained speed and endurance over runnable terrain, so it'll be fascinating to see how Kilian adapts his approach. This isn't his first rodeo at the Western States. Back in 2010, he made his debut there, snagged a remarkable third place.
Third place.
In some truly brutal weather conditions. I mean, we're talking snow and hail.
True test for even the most seasoned runners.
And then just to prove it was no fluke, he came back the very next year and won the whole thing, becoming the first non-American champion. Talk about making a statement. But this was over a decade ago. How much has the sport changed since then? New competitors have emerged, pushing the boundaries even further. A whole new ballgame, which makes Kilian's return all the more intriguing.
And speaking of intrigue, he's aiming to secure a golden ticket
A golden ticket.
at the Chianti Ultra Trail in Italy this coming March. For anyone wondering what that means, a golden ticket is an automatic entry into the Western States, awarded to the top 2 finishers.
No doubt Kilian could have chosen other qualifying races, but Chianti offers a relatively fast course. He could conserve energy for his main target later in the year.
Makes sense. Smart thinking.
But wait, Kilian and his partner Emily Forsberg, who's an incredible runner herself,
She is.
they're expecting their third child, and the due date just a few weeks before the Chianti race.
Talk about adding another layer of complexity.
How will this impact his training and preparation for both races? Will he even be able to compete in Italy so soon after such a major life event?
So many questions. We know Kilian thrives on challenges and seems to have this almost superhuman ability to adapt.
He does. Even if he secures that golden ticket, the Western States itself is a monumental challenge. We've talked about how different it is from the European ultra marathons. He's dominated races like Zagama and Sierra Zinal, where Kilian excels are known for their steep climbs and technical descents. Western States is about maintaining a high pace on more runnable trails for an incredibly long distance. It'll be fascinating to see how his strengths translate to this unique environment.
You know, it makes you wonder, if he manages to overcome all these hurdles, the new competition, the new baby, the race itself, could we see him aiming for a new course record at the Western States?
Now that's a bold question, and one that has the entire ultra running world buzzing. After all, we are talking about Kilian Jornet. But before we get ahead of ourselves, let's dive deeper into what makes the Western States such a unique and legendary race. What should our listener be watching for as they follow Kilian's journey?
Let's do it. Well, you know, the Western States has a history almost as rugged and wild as the terrain itself. It all started back in 1974 with a horse race.
The Western States Trail Ride, or the Tevis Cup, it covers that same 100-mile route as the running race we know today. And this guy, Gordy Ainsley, basically decided, I bet I could do that on foot.
So he was like the first to run the Western States.
Essentially, his incredible feat kind of sparked this whole thing, the creation of the Western States Endurance Run. Now, it's a cornerstone of the ultra running world. But even beyond the sheer distance and the challenging terrain, there's a certain mystique surrounding the race. It's steeped in history and tradition, with this incredible camaraderie among the runners, the volunteers, the whole ultra running community. They don't even give out medals at the finish line, a belt buckle. It's a symbol of true grit and accomplishment. You know, finishing the Western States, no matter your time, is a monumental achievement.
Wow.
And let's not forget the heat. You were talking about the California sun earlier.
Just how hot does it get out there in the Sierra Nevada in June?
Imagine this. You're running through canyons, the sun is beating down, air is shimmering with heat, your water bottle feels like it's boiling, the temperatures can soar well above 100 degrees Fahrenheit. Dehydration and heat exhaustion are major concerns, and runners need to be incredibly meticulous with their hydration and pacing strategy.
And I've heard about this section called canyons that's particularly brutal. What can you tell us about that?
Canyons is notorious. It's about a 20-mile stretch through exposed sun-baked canyons. It's often the make or break point for many runners. You know, mental fortitude fortitude becomes just as important as physical strength out there.
So, knowing all this, how do you think Kilian's previous experience at the Western States will play into his approach this time around? He knows what to expect, right?
That prior knowledge is invaluable. He's already faced the heat literally, and he understands the unique demands of the course. But remember, this isn't the same Kilian who raced there over a decade ago.
He's older, maybe wiser, and has had incredible success since then. Broken records in some of the most challenging races on the planet. I mean, the man summited Everest twice in a week without supplemental oxygen. He's become practically superhuman.
Yeah, there's a maturity and a depth of experience he brings to this race now. And I think we'll see it in his strategy. He won't just be relying on raw talent and youthful exuberance. He'll be approaching it with a calculated and meticulous plan, almost like a seasoned chess player.
The physical preparation, the mental game, the pacing strategy, all against the backdrop of this legendary race and his personal journey as both a father and an athlete.
And let's not forget the competition. The field at the Western States is always stacked with incredible ultra runners, many of whom are hungry to, shall we say, dethrone the king.
Here's where things get really interesting. In recent years, there's been this surge of talented American ultra runners who've been dominating this. Jim Walmsley, for example, has been pushing the limits of what's possible at the West.
Absolutely. Walmsley's aggressive style and record-breaking attempts have captivated the ultra running world.
Yeah.
And then there are others like Courtney Dauwalter, who's been shattering records in women's ultra running, often finishing ahead of the men.
It's incredible to see this new generation pushing the sport forward. So with all these factors at play, Kilian's return to the Western States isn't just a personal challenge. It's a clash of titans. It's a testament to the evolution of ultra running itself.
It's a moment in sports history that transcends the race itself. It's about the human spirit, the pursuit of excellence, and the constant drive to push beyond what we think is possible.
You know, we've covered a lot of ground here. We've talked about Kilian's ambitions, the unique challenges of the Western States, and this new generation of competitors. But there's another crucial element we haven't touched on yet, the shoes.
The footwear. In ultra running especially, a race as demanding as the Western States shoe choice can be the difference between a triumphant finish and a DNF.
We're talking 100 miles of pounding pavement and rocks and trail.
You need something that's going to provide support and cushioning and hold up for that kind of beating.
Right, and grip.
Oh, and grip, especially in those canyons. The advancements in shoe technology over the last few years have been pretty remarkable. We've seen this rise in carbon-plated shoes, which offer that increased energy return and propulsion, almost like having tiny springs in your soles. And then you've got those trail-specific shoes with those super aggressive treads for optimal grip on uneven terrain.
So what kind of shoes do you think we'll see Kilian wearing at the Western States?
He's known for his minimalist approach, often opting for those lightweight shoes that allow for maximum ground feel and agility.
Right. But will that minimalist philosophy hold up against the demands of the Western States? I mean, it's not just about speed, it's about endurance and protection over a very long distance. Wouldn't those super cushioned shoes help him in the long run?
That's the million-dollar question.
Yeah.
It's almost a metaphor for his approach to the race itself. Will he rely on his inherent strengths and experience, or will he adapt and incorporate new strategies to conquer this beast of a race?
Right.
You know, I wouldn't be surprised if he sticks with what he knows, but maybe he'll surprise us all and break out some new tech.
Maybe. So I guess we'll have to wait and see. It's a testament to his constant evolution as an athlete. You know, he's never been afraid to experiment to push the boundaries of what's considered possible, and that's what makes him so exciting to watch.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Yeah. So let's recap this deep dive for our listener. We've got Kilian Jornet, the legendary mountain runner, setting his sights on the Western States 100, a race that's as much a test of mental fortitude as it is of physical endurance.
We've got the history, the legacy, the unique challenges of the course itself, and the emergence of a new generation of ultra runners who are raising the bar for the sport.
We've got the personal stakes with Kilian balancing his athletic ambitions with the impending arrival of his third child. And we've got the question of strategy of adaptation, of whether he'll embrace new approaches to conquer this iconic American race.
Could we see a new course record, a time that cements his legacy as one of the greatest ultra runners of all time?